Hi, Kayla here. I've been enjoying my travel journeys and my expat living here in sweet TNT. But in all of the doing, fun and excitement, it's important to make time and room for the things that are necessary. This is why I'm chatting with Jeunesse today, chef, vegan lifestyle advocate, mom, and magazine writer and editor of the Youthful Vegan. Her pursuits are not only about healthy eating and sustainability, but it is her truth and legacy. It's what she passes on to the next generation. We'll hear more from Jeunesse and her involvement with the Safe Soil campaign. Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Thank you so much for coming to chat with us.
No problem. I'm happy to be here with you.
Awesome. So I have seen and I've heard great things about the work that you're doing. And so you have a magazine.
Yes.
You are a mom, a wife. You are a content creator. And you care so much about the earth. Are all those things true?
Yes.
Awesome. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Well, I mean, you said a lot there. So yes, I'm a mom, 2 kids, married, and I do a bit of everything in terms of being a mom, being a wife. And however, in terms of the Youthful Vegan, it's my company I created a few years ago when I transitioned to a vegan lifestyle. And I just wanted to share this in Trinidad and Tobago. It was something that was still very new. I mean, of course, there are lots of vegans and vegetarians in Trinidad already, but there wasn't anyone really catering food on a bigger scale that I knew of. There weren't any restaurants or cafes, so this led me to then opening up a vegan cafe, which I ran for a few years. I did this all while pregnant and then had my first child. But actually, I think that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
I think it was a wonderful thing doing it like that. And I realized how attached she is or was to the cafe because she asked me about it all the time and if I would open it back actually. When I thought me closing it when I was having my second child was going to be something for them to be more flexible to them, and that's really why I closed the cafe, was to have more flexible time for my family and kids. I wanted to stay relevant. I wanted to continue what I was doing. I feel really passionate about this lifestyle, a plant-based lifestyle, because I think it has lots of benefits, not only with your health, but in terms of living a more peaceful and sustainable life. In terms of animals, that was really my deciding factor for becoming a vegan, was solely for animal welfare. I truly believe that this is wrong what we're doing on a large scale to animals. And then, of course, I realized all the health benefits attached to a plant-based diet.
What are some of the health benefits?
Well, first of all, you tend to eat a lot more vegetables and fruit when you're on a plant-based diet, right? So when you cut out meat and dairy, you automatically have to include more of these foods into your diet. That's all that you're really eating. So one of the main things is, of course, we all know vegetables and fruits are great for us. So when we're eating more of those things, we're getting more of those nutrients and benefits for our body.
Right.
Another great reason is the fact that our bodies process plant foods a lot easier than meat and dairy. I think we all know that, when you eat like a big piece of steak, you feel heavy. After, you feel like you can hardly breathe. You need to probably sit for a while, and you always hear this term, your food needs to digest. Well, it's because your body is taking so much energy to digest this food. It's not good to put your body through that all day long in every meal that you eat. I
like that you said that, because there's a common misconception amongst plant-based eaters, vegetarians and vegans, that we don't have enough sustenance. It's like, how do you get fuel? How do you get your energy? where do you get your protein from? How can you go so long all day without having something heavy like meat? You need to put something heavy in your body. What would you say to that?
So I think that that's a misconception, or that's just something that we've been taught over the years, but now so much more research is being done on these things and what we should be eating and putting into our bodies, that now we've realized how much better plant foods are. And like you said, we don't I don't think putting something heavy in your body is good. You want to be a light person, a light being. So if you load it up with all this meat products, dairy products, your body would not, in my opinion, your body won't be functioning the way that it should be. Whereas the plants and fruits and legumes and all of these things, so a lot of people tend to be hung up on, well, where do you get your protein? Where do you get your protein? That's always the question, right?
Where's the protein?
I know. Which I think is interesting as well, because it shows you how much we've been taught that you need all this amount of protein, you know, when in fact, yes, of course, protein is essential to your diet.
But there's so much more.
There's so much more. And I think we forget about that. All of those other important nutrients that you can get directly from plants. So I look at it that if you're doing the animal products, that's like a median. That's like you're eating your nutrients from a middle person rather than from the source itself, because that animal got all those things from plant source. And sadly, in animal factory farms, they're not even eating those plant sources that they would have in a natural environment. They're eating the processed corn, genetically modified corn, and soybeans is solely majority of what all animals are fed in factory farms. So you're not even eating meat that comes from source that's nutritious.
True.
know?
Yeah, so I'm a plant-based eater. I'm not quite vegan, but it was a hard transition for me because I did grow up on a chicken farm in Bermuda, so I had a connection to animals. You know, I could appreciate the spirit of the animals, spending time with them, actually raising them with care and love before what would be considered a slaughter, and then we would make soup and all of these things. So in my mind as a child, I said, okay, that makes sense to me, but I really stepped away from meat. Being an American, when I found out, and anyone can go to a documentary and see for themselves that the mistreatment of animals as a result of mass production is not going to stop. It has to start with us. We have to make a decision to scale back, curb it, eliminate, and petition forward and forward. You know, I think another misconception when it comes to veganism is that we think, or people tend to think that it's self-centered. How could you be so all about you and, you know, and not see the bigger picture? Animals were made for the world, and animals were made for us to consume, and all of these kinds of things. But I want to step away from maybe the spiritual and the ethical aspect of it and just talk more about the benefits of plant-based eating and go straight to this one major misconception, which is that vegan lifestyle and eating is nasty, or it's horrible, right? Or like we don't have flavor or taste. What would you say to that?
Which I think is so strange. And again, it's just because of that word vegan, I think tends to steer people away because it seems so unfamiliar. Or just, oh, they're vegan. You know, it's really odd trying to figure out why is there this negative tone to it sometimes, when to me it's kind of the opposite, because this involves no killing. I mean, it's literally pure. It's pure foods. So I always found that strange, because it's natural. When this is actually an animal that was killed, you know, that you were eating and putting that into your body. We need to work in cohesion with all of these things then. Not take advantage of anything. And to me, I think that is what is happening right now in terms of animal factory farming. And I'm not going to say all the time that everybody needs to be vegan. No, but if you significantly reduce the amount of animal products in your diet or in your lifestyle, this would help this planet tremendously with regards to suffering animals and the planet suffering as well, through what animal factory farming entails in terms of environmental impact. So I think that is something that we should all be thinking about, how to reduce that impact and suffering.
Yes.
A lot of times people don't even realize they eat vegan food a lot. I mean, I would always say the #1 breakfast in Trinidad is vegan. It's doubles. I mean, 100% vegan.
Did you know that doubles was a vegan dish?
So, you eat vegan food, you eat tomato chokers, you eat, bygone choker, you eat pumpkin choker, you eat lots of vegetarian foods already.
Okay.
Okay. You eat lentil peas, callaloo.
Yes.
As long as you don't put any crab or pigtail or anything in it. But I mean, those things are vegetarian, are vegetarian or vegan,
Yes. And it's not only the food. When it comes to being a vegan, it is a lifestyle. It's a shift. It's a mindset. And that helps you to feel less deprived of something that you feel like you once loved or I can't have because I'm doing this for the greater good. You talked about this feeling of being light. What is your energy like for a typical day, being a mom, getting your kids ready for school and doing everything that you're doing?
So on the whole, I've always been a person that I like to keep moving. I like to keep busy. I mean, I'm not saying that's always a good thing. We need to stop and have some balance, of course. But on the whole, I like to keep moving.
Okay.
And I actually don't feel great if I don't move a lot. So I was always like that. But I definitely would see that my diet has played a huge impact on that. Because like I said, I don't feel heavy all the time after I eat. I don't feel lethargic and, oh my gosh, I can't move. I feel light. I feel energetic. And I want to live energetically, And I think we need those things to be a vibrant person, And
I think even that speaks this lightness, that speaks to many moms who are doing things like what you do. Meal prepping, preparing for the kids' day, taking them to school, doing her own thing, having a relationship with her partner, being available to her community and other things. It's a common statistic amongst women of color in particular. Mood, anxiety, depression, all of these things are also as a result of our choice in food. It just is. I mean, if you're going for things that are heavy in sugar, processed, flour, a lot of meats, dairy, these kinds of things can change your energetic aptitude and change your attitude and will make you more likely to be angry or ornery or want to reserve yourself and just sleep and rest and not be involved. Something like that can have a huge impact. Maybe the child wants to come in and talk to you about their day and you're like, no, just go over there, just watch TV, just, whatever the case may be, instead of being engaged. As a doula, I can say that that's the number one thing that I always encourage my moms to do is to take a look at their diet and start to introduce more plant-based and alkaline foods into their diet in preparation for baby. It will help them to be more motivated to move, to exercise, and also while breastfeeding. Babies will less likely have gas, will have gastrointestinal issues, will have less thrush around the mouth, will sleep better through the night if you're breastfeeding and you reduce the amount of meats and dairies, processed foods, sugars, etc. into your diet.
It's a big change. And for me, I'm actually quite happy that I was already on this path before I got pregnant and decided to have children. So I think it has huge benefits in terms of pregnancy, in terms of raising children. So like you said, like meal prepping and all of these things, a lot of people tell me, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to do those things. And, because healthy food takes time, right? You can't just go and buy it all the time. It's not the convenient food. It's something that we need to make as our priority, and especially for our children. In terms of the whole Save Soil movement, one of the things that they always speak about is the fact that we need to realize that the food that we eat becomes our body. It becomes us. It is what is fueling us. I mean, if we don't eat, we will die. So it is our life. The food is actually our life. So do we want to fuel it with pure life or, this processed foods? We want to give it we want to fuel our bodies with the right type of stuff. And that's why I make it such a priority, because it's not only important for me, but it's extremely important for my children. And that is literally what motivates me all the time. I am constantly thinking about what I'm going to give them to eat. I'm not saying that I don't give in and let them have the little junk stuff every now and then. I mean, of course, oh gosh, we need a little fun, and we live in a society where these things are around us.
Right.
So I can't completely ignore it, unfortunately, especially when it comes to their parties or pairs and what they have. but I have seen how in tune they are with what they eat and in tune with the earth. And I strongly believe it's because of the foods that they eat and because I teach them how important the food we eat is, you know, and what we should be putting into our bodies. I speak about it to them all the time, and I incorporate it into our lives every day. You know, I make sure that they're seeing lots of fruits and vegetables and whole foods versus processed foods. The processed foods in my house is minimal compared to my whole foods in my home.
So you might often catch Janesse on her Youthful Vegan page on Instagram. Just check out her stories, making some delicious dishes and recipes.